Hi guys, welcome to Learning Online with Prepclass. I am Tutor Chima and I will be the anchor for today's section. So looking at your screen, you are going to be seeing Jamb Biology 2020. So this tells you that we are going to be solving past questions on biology, Jamb to be precise, for the year 2020. It is a new start on this particular year. We've not solved past question on this particular year today, so today is a fresh start. And as a fresh start, we are going to be solving from question number 1. So we are going to be looking at questions 1 to 5. Yes, Jamb usually have different types, type A, type B. As I don't know the type I'm solving, the number 1 question can be number 50 question in your past question or so. So nevertheless, it's just a new start, it's just a fresh start. So in this video, I'll be looking at the first 5 questions, question number 1 to 5. So now, before I start, students, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Try as much as possible to like our video. Click on the notification bell, turn it on, so that you be notified. You'll be the first person to be notified whenever we have a content like this available on our channel. Do not forget to share our videos so that they can reach as much views as possible. Feel free to comment on our comment section box. A comment can be a question, maybe at the end of you watching this video. If there are things, maybe 1 or 2 things that you're not completely clear or you didn't completely get from the video, do that by dropping a question for me on the comment section, and I'm going to attend to all your questions, because Prepclass is here to serve you better. So now let's proceed. Question number 1, and it says, which of the following animals does not belong to the phylum Mollusca? Which of the following animals does not belong to the phylum Mollusca? A, is it mites? B, is it snails? C, is it squids? D, is it oyster? Phylum Mollusca. Which of the animals does not? Okay, what are mollusca? Mollusca, singular mollusk, plural mollusca, are slimy invertebrates with soft, unsegmented body. They are slimy invertebrates with soft, unsegmented body, muscular foot, which may be adapted for crawling, burrowing, or swimming. The mollusca include snails, bivalves, oysters, octopus, and squids. So you can see that we've seen our answer. Those soft body, slimy organisms, most especially snails, are known as what? Mollusca. So other members include octopus, they have soft body tissues, squids, bivalves, and oysters. So you can see that mites is not a mollusca. Mite is just like I think it belongs to the phylum Arachnid. It looks like an insect with an exoskeleton, but it has 8 walking legs. So you see that mites used to stay on the bodies of all these goats or dogs and bite and suck their blood. So you can see that mites here is the odd one out. So because of that, your best answer there is what? Mites. Mites do not belong to the phylum Mollusca. Okay. 2. Which of the following characteristics do fungi share in common with animals? Which of the following characteristics do fungi share in common with animals? A, is it presence of digestive tract? B, is it movement from one place to another? C, is it storage of carbohydrate as glycogen? D, is it movement of central during cell division? So they are asking us which of these characteristics that fungi share with animals, or maybe with an animal cell. Let's see. The first one, presence of digestive tract. Fungi do not possess digestive tract. Some fungi are even unicellular organisms. Yes, we have some fungi like the bread mold, we have the slime mold, we have the mushrooms, and you see that the majority of these, all of them in short, do not have a developed digestive system like we humans. Mouth, stomach, gullet, digestive. Fungi do, they are too small. Some are even microscopic. Those that are not microscopic, like the mushrooms that we can see, they look somehow like plant, but you see that they don't have any organ for digestive organs. So that one is off. Movement from one place to place. Now, most fungi are what? Not mobile, with the exception of I think we have bread mold, we have slime mold. I think the exception of slime mold. I think slime mold is mobile, but the rest, majority of fungi are not mobile. So we can't choose that one as a character that it shares with what animals. We can't choose mobility. Storage of carbohydrate as glycogen. So I said that since fungi do not have chlorophyll, they cannot manufacture their own food. You know what is chlorophyll? That green pigment that is found in plants that enables them to what? Manufacture their own food is known as what? Chlorophyll. It is responsible for the green color of the leaves of plants. But the major function is that the chlorophyll traps solar energy, which plants now use to what? Force carbon dioxide and what? Water to produce what? Glucose, which is stored as what? Starch. So chlorophyll is responsible for plants to manufacture food. So fungi do not contain chlorophyll. You can see that mushrooms are like white, gray in color. So they do not contain chlorophyll. Because of that, fungi cannot what? Photosynthesize. So since they obtain ready-made food, they feed on the, most fungi are saprophytes, so they feed on the dead remains of some plants and what? Animals. So they feed on ready-made food. So since they obtain ready-made food, excess glucose will be stored as glycogen. Plant stores glucose as starch. Animal stores glucose as glycogen. So since fungi cannot photosynthesize like plants, then the food that they obtain from the environment, the glucose, will be stored as glycogen. Movement of central during cell division. Yes, central is absent in most fungi. It's mostly animal cells that have what? Central. Central, together with the nucleus, play a role in what? Cell division. So the only character that fungi share with animal, or the only possible character that the fungi will share with an animal is what? Ability to store what? Carbohydrate as glycogen. So storage of carbohydrate as glycogen will be your best answer. 3. The process by which plants get rid of excess water from their body when too much of water is absorbed by their roots besides transpiration is known as, is it excretion, is it guttation, is it evaporation, or is it sweating? Now, we know that the process whereby plants remove excess water from their leaves is known as what? Transpiration. But they are telling us, besides transpiration, which other process can plants use to remove excess water from their leaves? Of course, you should know that plants do not sweat. It's only animals that do that, especially vertebrates. Evaporation, no, you can't see evaporation. Evaporation is mostly the process whereby water. Okay, let us look at them. Guttation, or excretion. I think I started with excretion. Excretion. Excretion is the removal of metabolic waste products from the body of animals. You cannot completely say that the process whereby the plant is bringing out that excess water is what? Excretion. No. Let us see the definition of the rest. Guttation, the loss of water in the form of water droplets. The loss of water in the form of water droplets from small pores on the leaf margin of a small herbaceous plant. Plants have small pores at the end of the veins through which this excess water is lost in form of droplets. I believe we've seen our answer. And evaporation says the process by which water changes from its liquid state to gaseous state or vapor. And sweating, the release of salt-based fluid from the bodies of some mammals through their sweat glands. So sweating is off, evaporation is off, and we can see that guttation, loss of water in form of water droplet from the small pores of leaf margin of small herbaceous plants is our best answer. So our best answer here is what? Guttation. Guttation. 4. Heat loss in mammals occurs through all the following except heat loss in mammals occurs through all the following except is it excretion of urine and voiding of physics? That's is it excretion of urine and voiding of physics? That's urinating and not defecating. Is it evaporation of sweat? Is it diffusion? Is it radiation, conduction, and convection of heat from the skin? Okay, now look at what I said. I said that heat is lost from the body of mammals through exhalation. As you breathe out, heat has been lost. Sometimes if you blow air on your palm, you feel it warm. Just try it, you can try it. When you exhale on your palm, you can feel the warmness. That's why sometimes when you watch all these foreign movies that is acted in temperate countries like US, Britain, during winter, as they speak, you see smoke coming out from their mouth. You see that vapor, that smoke coming. Why? Because heat is coming. So as I'm talking now, heat is leaving my body. When I exhale, heat leaves my body. From waste products like feces, when you go to toilet, heat leaves your body through your feces. When you urinate, heat leaves your body through your urine. That's why if you urinate, maybe I don't know, as a child you must have tried it before, try peeing on your leg, you'll notice that your urine is what? Warm. So that warmness tells you that what? Heat is what? Leaving your body. So heat leaves the body of mammals through exhalation, waste like physics, urine, and what? Sweat. Sweating is one of the most important way in which mammals dissipate heat. When you jog for some time, are you following? You sweat from your body, and you sweat and heat comes out from your body. The water on your body now causes breeze to blow, and once breeze blows on your body, you now feel cool. So sweating helps to what? Dissipate what? Heat. Now, this loss of heat can be through the process of radiation, conduction, and convection. These ones are pure science. Radiation is just the process of heat transfer in which the medium in which the heat is being flowed is not even affected. Like the sun we receive heat from the sun through what? Radiation. Conduction is the process where heat is transferred through a solid, most especially a conductor. Convection is the process by which heat is transferred through a liquid. So heat leaves our body through conduction because our body somehow is a good conductor of heat to some extent. Radiation, the heat can vaporize from our surface of the skin. And convection through liquids like urine and sweat. So looking at all these things I've said, you see that D is not an exception because heat leaves our body through radiation, conduction, convection, via the skin. You can see it. Evaporation of sweat, of course, I've explained how we lose heat through sweating. Excretion of urine and voiding of feces. Feces should be there. Feces should be there. I don't know what they mean by this voiding of feces. So you can see that out of everything now, diffusion is not the. Don't think heat leaves our body via diffusion. Do the heat diffuses? No. I think it's via excretion, evaporation, radiation, conduction. So I don't think heat leaves the body via diffusion. No, it's either it's through radiation. So diffusion is not part of it. So the answer there is diffusion. Diffusion is the best choice. Diffusion. 5. When a spirogyra cell is immersed in a salt solution, in a salt solution that is more concentrated than its cell sap, when what? Spirogyra cell is immersed in a salt solution that is more concentrated than its cell sap, it becomes turgid, remains unchanged, loses water and shrivels, absorbs water and bursts. Which one? Okay, let's see. When a plant cell like spirogyra is placed in a hypertonic solution, that is a strong salt solution, we call a strong salt solution a hypertonic solution. We call a solution that contains no salts that is the salt in the cell is higher than that of that solution, call it a hypotonic solution. A solution in the level of salt and water there, that's the level of salt, is the same thing as the level of salt or salts in the plant or animal cell. We call that solution an isotonic solution. Note the difference. Hypertonic solution, strong salt solution, concentration of salt in that solution is higher than that in the cell. Hypotonic solution, no salt concentration. Concentration of that solution is lower than that in the cell. Isotonic solution, a solution whereby the concentration of salt in that solution and the cell is the same thing. So when a plant is placed in a strong salt solution, very good example, if I put like 10 spoons or 20 spoons of salt, okay, let's say 10 spoons of salt in one glass cup of water, 5 to 10 spoons of salt in one glass cup of water, that water will be extremely salty. That's a strong salt solution. That's a hypertonic solution. So when you place a plant cell in a salt solution, something happens. Water leaves the cell by a process of osmosis. We call that kind of osmosis X-osmosis. When water leaves a cell, it's called X-osmosis. When water enters the cell, it's called end-osmosis. So when you place that kind of cell, plant cell, animal cell, let's say a plant cell in a strong salt solution, water will come out from the cell by X-osmosis. If you place it in a hypotonic solution, a solution that has no salt, water will enter into the cell. So in this case, water will leave the cell by a process of X-osmosis. As a result, the cell shrinks or shrivels. As water leaves the cell, water is leaving the cell sap. What happens? The vacuum. A plant has a large central vacuum. Water enters and stays in that vacuum. The vacuum expands and pushes the cell content towards the cell wall. So as water leaves the plant as a result of this X-osmosis, the vacuum will now collapse and pull the cell content closer. So if this water continues to leave this cell will continue to shrink and shrink and shrink. It will shrink and shrivel. This process where water leaves the cell to the extent of the cell shrinking or shriveling is called plasmolysis. So when the cell completely shrivels or shrinks, we say that the cell is what? Plasmolyzed. So the cell is placed in a salt solution more concentrated than its cell. What happens? What happens is that water will leave the cell by means of what? Osmosis. We call it X-osmosis, and the cell will shrink or shrivel. So loses water and shrivels. So the cell will lose water and shrivel. Okay guys, we've come to the end of today's section of learning with Prepclass, where we looked at past questions on Jamb biology for the year 2020. We started this section by solving questions 1 to 5. If you look here, you're going to see a link. We urge you to copy and paste this link on your browser. It will take you straight to our WhatsApp group. When you join our WhatsApp group, you'll be getting updates and infos on the latest videos we have on our channel. So till we meet again, I remain Tutor Chima, a biology tutor with Prepclass. Bye and do stay safe.